Hello everybody, Tony from Cardboard Wars here. I haven't done a video of anything in several months. Sometimes it's just a matter of not being able to find the time. But I want to pick up, normally I do a lot of World War II, Europa stuff, and pretty much the only videos I've done so far was on the Battle for Norway in 1940. But I want to I want to do something kind of different this time around. I want to go back and relearn Victory Games, the Civil War. I've seen a few videos on it out on the internet, and it just kind of piqued my interest again. So, I have not played this in probably 30 years or so. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to try and relearn it. I am going to be using the rules as printed in the rule book. I will not be using the one that has been available on the internet that expands upon the rules. Like I said, I'm going to be going through it. I'm going to be relearning this, so I'm sure I'm going to make a few mistakes here and there. So I have this Vassal module, and we're going to give it a go. The primary strategies for the Union is I'm going to set up the Trans-Mississippi as the primary theater, at least in the first turn, possibly the second turn. The thought is that by making that the #1 thing, to try to hold Missouri for the Union. Currently, they control every Victory Point city in the state, and they've got to hold on to Springfield. Meanwhile, the Western Theater will be the tertiary theater for now, because Kentucky is neutral for the first 2 turns, and the Union is going to respect that neutrality and wait until turn 3 to move in. So we're going to be building forces in the area, preparing to invade Kentucky. Unfortunately for them, because they remain neutral, they are going to become a major battleground. And over here in the east will be the secondary theater. And the general thought here is to secure West Virginia if possible. Maybe use some sea lift capacity to try and capture some ports and start impacting the Confederate supply, and to generally attrit the Confederate forces in Virginia. The Confederate forces, on the other hand, they are going to roll per the table in the rule book on page 53. And they're going to go by that. And they roll a 2, which is the east is the secondary, the west is the primary, and the Trans-Mississippi is the tertiary. So the Eastern Theater is the secondary, Trans-Mississippi is the tertiary, west is the primary. Their general thought is to basically sit back on the defensive, and we're going to try to fortify everything that we can, but at the same time they've also got to try and take advantage of the poor leadership that the Union has in the first few turns. But they'll be fortifying such areas as Richmond, and they're going to try to recover West Virginia, which became a state in 1863. But they're going to try and capture it in order to bring it back into the Confederacy. In the West, they're basically going to do the same thing. They're going to fortify here in Memphis, fortify in Nashville, fortify in Vicksburg, possibly fortify in New Orleans, and maybe fortify up here at Island Number 10 in the Trans-Mississippi. Even though that's the tertiary theater, they're going to try and knock Lyon out of Springfield if possible, and keep Missouri contested. So it is July to August 1861, turn 1, and we're going to roll for command points. Oops. Still learning my way around this module. Hopefully someday I will be able to find somebody to play against. I mean, the hardest thing about wargaming is finding opponents. So command points, combat charge command points. And so the Union rolls a 6, which is 63213. So 6, 3, 2, 1, 3. And the Confederates roll a 4, which is 4322. 4, 4, 3, 2, and 2. So, that having been decided, we now roll for initiative. We always roll Union first and then Confederate. And the Union rolls a 7, and the Confederates roll a 5. So that's a dice difference of 2. And the Union has the initiative, and they will be able to bring in a free strength point, a so-called free strength point. It does not use any of the dice difference. So let's see. Where do I want a strength point? We will go ahead and put one. We'll use our first Trans-Mississippi strength point. And so now we have 2 left to spend. And we're going to spend 1 Trans-Mississippi command point. And we're going to march overland to Rolla to protect the supply depot. So there's 1. And then over here in the east, we're going to spend 1 more. And we're going to move from Parkersburg to Charleston, West Virginia, which is 2 victory points. 1, 2. And as long as the Union can hold on to all of these cities through the end of the term, then they will convert West Virginia into a, I believe, a neutral, possibly a friendly. So yes, it becomes friendly territory. So that's 2 for the Union. And now the Confederacy gets to go. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to grab a strength point from the west. We're just going to clone that, and they're going to put it in New Orleans because New Orleans is vital. That is. And then they get one more. And let's see. Move this out of the way. Price cannot move because he requires 3 command points. And let's see, forts cost 3 to build, right? Yes, build fort 3. I suppose I could build a depot. Well, I've already spent 1, so I got 1 more left. So let's see, got one strength point in Nashville, 2 strength points in Memphis. So we will go ahead and Johnston I can't activate, Beauregard I can't activate, Magruder I can't activate. So we're going to pull a strength point and put it in Staunton, Virginia. Control S, and that's the end of that pulse. So the Union rolls a 4. And the Confederacy rolls a 2, which again, that's 2 dice difference. The Union is going to pull a leader out. We have 8 to choose from, and this is going to go into Cairo, Illinois. We're going to roll D10 and ignore a 9 or a 10. That's 3, 1, 2, 3. So Burnside is going to appear in Cairo. We got 2 more that we can spend, and we're just going to go ahead and spend the 2 naval points. And we are going to pull all of our transports and put them on the map. And we're going to put 1 in Cairo, and we're going to put the other one in Philadelphia. And then the Confederacy gets to spend 2. And they're going to spend 2 and build a supply depot in Memphis. And so ends the pulse. So now the Union rolls a 4 and the Confederacy rolls a 9, so the Confederacy has the initiative. And a difference of 5. And they get 1 free strength point. They're going to put it in Wilmington, North Carolina. And then they're going to pull a leader. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is going into Staunton. So Bragg will be in Staunton. Staunton, Virginia. So there's one. And we are going to spend 2 in the east. And we are going to quickly create the Army of Northern Virginia. And I'm sure you can hear my wife watching television in the background. Confederates, armies, Army of Northern Virginia. That's 2, 3, 4. And delete. Beauregard is in charge of the Army of Northern Virginia. So there's 3 spent. Got 2 left. And I think I'm going to create the Army of Mississippi here in the west. With 1 strength point. And on top. Now the Union gets an opportunity to move. And then the Trans-Mississippi, they're going to spend 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4 to bolster Lyon's position. Spend 1 more and move from Jefferson City to Rolla. So that's 2. 3. Then we're going to spend 2 Eastern Command points, 1 discretionary command point to activate McDowell. And McDowell's only going to take 6. Control C. Control S. He's going to take his 6. And he's going to move across the Potomac. Let me make sure he can cross that side. Yeah. He can cross there. And Beauregard can possibly react. So let's see if Beauregard reacts. 5, yes. So he will react with his 4 strength points there and force battle. Basically, we've just set up Bull Run. Now, I know that when a 3-star general can move up to 6 strength points. But if he moves into a hex, I wonder if in this situation, whether he gets to attack with 6 strength points or 7. So I need to quickly look that up. Okay, so because Beauregard is in charge of an army, he has no reroll options and has no tactical effect on the combat, whereas McDowell is not in charge of an army, but from what I understand, he gives up the reroll option to Beauregard and gives them a +1. So, let's look at terrain effects. A city or a navigable river is 2 column shifts. Really? Like it's navigable up to where they went, so they probably should have gone around, taken the long way around to cross the river. So McDowell is in command of 6, not 7, and the Army of Northern Virginia has 4, so that's plus 2. And then a 2 column shifts to the left puts us on the -1, -2. And the attackers, the Union, roll a 3, and they are a medium force. 2, 3. So they cause 1 casualty. And then the Confederates, they also roll a 3, and that is a D1. So, let's see. I think the Beauregard's going to call for the reroll option because he has a 1 in 3 chance of taking no casualties, a 1 in 3 chance of the result staying the same, and a 1 in 3 chance of becoming demoralized. So, and knowing my luck, I'll roll a 5 or a 6 now. Nope, 3, so it stays the same. So the Army of Northern Virginia Control S and Control S, and they are demoralized. But I need to check on the retreat. Okay, so this force, at the very least, cannot retreat across a navigable river hexad, which looks like it goes up here. So they have to retreat to the north, and I assume that the 1 strength point that was there, since it was not involved in the attack, it also has to vacate the hex. That is one that I'm really not sure about, but I'm just going to say go ahead and vacate the hex. So Bull Run is out of the way, and it looks like Washington is completely vulnerable. Really, but it's not. I mean, they have 2 there, 3 there. They can cross the river, but the fort will give them a column shift, and the navigable river will also give them a column shift, or 2 column shifts. I mean, I'm sure that they can slide down here and then up. So we'll see what happens. So that is the end of the Union portion of the turn. So now we roll for initiative, and the Union gets 5, and the Confederacy gets 6. They have strength points, so well, that's the Union. So they're going to take their 1 strength point, and they're going to recover the losses from the Army of Northern Virginia. And then they have 1, and so they're going to pull a leader to put with Beauregard, and that leader is a 1 E.K. Smith. So he's a good addition. He gives Beauregard a good tactical die roll. The Union is going to waste no time getting a strength point back into Washington, since McDowell has now left that completely vulnerable. And we roll for initiative, and the Union rolls a 5, and the Confederacy rolls a 6, and maintains the initiative. And let's see, they are going to pull a strength point, put it in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So that's their freebie. Reduce this by 1. And so we have 2 to spend. Not a lot that can be done. So we are going to build a supply depot in Nashville in preparation for building a fortress there. And that's there too. Let's see. The Union, meanwhile, is going to spend 2 discretionaries, and they're going to attack Price at 1-to-1. Both are small forces. There is no terrain, and Lyon gets a +2, so the Union rolls at 1, which is a 3, and the Confederates roll at 1. So we'll look at the 0, 2, 3. So to the defender, they don't do anything, and the attacker doesn't, or the defenders do not do anything to the attacker. So the battle is inconclusive. Lyon has to retreat back to Springfield. And then we roll for initiative again, and the Union gets a 3, and the Confederacy gets an 8, and the initiative is 5. So I probably should, well, she probably wouldn't have been able to react. I should probably have created the Army of the Potomac by now. But we're going to take our freebie. We're going to add it to the Army of Northern Virginia. And we have 5 to spend, and there'll be 3 to activate the Army. So we have 2. So we're going to grab 2 more leaders and put them with the Army of Northern Virginia. 1 through 4, ignore a 5 or a 6. That's 5, 2, 1, 2. Stonewall Jackson joins Beauregard, and so this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now 5, and Jeb Stuart now joins them. So that is 2, and then an Eastern Command Point, and a discretionary command point. and the Army starts on the march, crossing the Potomac and moving north into Washington. Since I foolishly left it wide open. So we have 5-2, which is a +3. Since they have not crossed a navigable river to attack, the fort will give them terrain effects. Terrain, a fort is a single. Yes, that is a single. And their medium force against a small force. So Beauregard will have a +1, +2, +3, possibly a +4. Let me see. Do cavalry leaders have an effect on the combat? So yes, so they have a +4, no rerolls. The attacker, being the Confederacy, rolls a 6, modified to a 10. This is on the +3 column. 1 column shift, +1, +2. So against the defender, medium-sized force, they roll a 10. A 10, that's a D2. D2 right there. And then the defenders roll a 3, and they're a small force. 2, 3, and they just demoralize the Army of Northern Virginia. So these are deleted. Fort is deleted. And these are, they are demoralized. So here I am. I'm playing my first game in years. I've already made a made a really dumb mistake. So Lincoln is on the run. This is how many Washington is worth? 5 victory points. 5. And both sides are demoralized. So the Union does not have a lot of time to work with. They don't, in fact, they don't even have enough command points to do anything, so they kind of gotta hope for a tie at this point so that they can get some more command points. So Union initiative is 4, Confederate initiative, oh wait a second, scratch that, the Union still needs to go. They got 5 that they've got to spend. And we have none in the east. We have no discretionaries. We're going to spend 2 command points in the west to fortify Cairo, and then 3 in the Trans-Mississippi. We're going to spend 2 in the Trans-Mississippi, and we are going to hit Price again. But at this point, it may be moot. The whole thing may be moot. So, Union rolls a 3. which is no effect, and the Confederates roll a 2. I am rolling just gangbusters today. And they, again, inconclusive. No casualties on either side. So now we got 1 point of dice difference left. We're going to bring a leader in to Harrisburg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to ignore 8, 9, and 10. 3, 1, 2, 3. Curtis is in Harrisburg. 3, 1, 1. But is there a better? Well, Rosecrans is a little better. But McDowell would have to be removed. So now we roll initiative. So the Union rolls a 3, and the Confederacy rolls a 7. That's a dice difference of 4. We are going to add 1 freebie to the Army of Northern Virginia. I'm gonna brag, and we're going to put 1 in Strasbourg. So let's see. That's freebie. 1 there, 1 there, so that's 2. We got 2 more to spend. We have 2 Western strength points. So we're going to dump them both into the Army of Mississippi. We're going to take 2 strength points, put them in Baltimore. And we're going to pull a leader and put him in Baltimore. Actually, we're going to put a leader in Cincinnati. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's Rosecrans in Cincinnati. That's 3. And 5. Pope. Oh, I forgot to even mention where he was going. So this leader is going to go to Baltimore. So we'll roll again. 3, 1, 2, 3 foot. Foot can be used up in Philadelphia. And that's that. So now initiative. Union gets a 5. Confederacy gets a 7. They get 2 Trans-Mississippi command points. They get a free we'll put that in Memphis. 2 Trans-Mississippi command points. And we're going to build a supply depot in Camden. And that's 3. Union is pretty well screwed. Three. 1, 2, 3. And again, we roll for initiative. 3 and 8. So again, Confederates have 5. Oh, and I use that. But they do not have any command points. So, but I suppose I do have leaders. So we have 2 leaders left. We're going to roll for 1 and put them with Albert Sidney Johnston. We have a choice of Hardy or Longstreet. So this will be odd, even. And it is odd. So Hardy goes with Albert Sidney Johnston. And Longstreet is the last one. He will go to Richmond. So now the Confederates are out of everything. The Union, on the other hand, they have 4 that they need to spend. So we're going to put a leader into Columbus. 1, 2, so that'll be Don Carlos Buell. A leader into Pittsburgh. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To Halleck is in Pittsburgh. And we're going to put 1 in Philadelphia. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pope is in Philadelphia. And Banks is going to go to Evansville, Indiana. And that ends the turn. So, Rule 14.2 states that victory is supposed to be immediately triggered by the capture of Washington. Or at the end of each game turn in which the Confederacy occupies Washington. So let's take a look at the victory points here. And it says the Confederate total is subtracted from the Union total to yield a final total, which in this case is 6. If victory determination is triggered by the Confederates taking Washington and the Confederate VP total is greater than the Union total, then the game ends immediately in a Confederate victory. If the Confederate total is less than the Union total, then the game continues. So the Union is not out of it yet, but they are very, very demoralized. So it looks like for the next turn, the East is now the primary theater because the Army of Northern Virginia has got to be driven out. So that was really, really stupid on my part. Since they cannot be rallied, each side loses a strength point. Delete 8. Let's see, any more that are demoralized? No, but we forgot to take this into account. Missouri joins the Union. It is 1, 2, 3, 6. 6 victory points. Which is 17 plus 6 is 23. And Missouri is now considered 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is now considered friendly territory to the Union. So, even though this was probably one of the dumbest mistakes I've ever made, and it's not surprising to me that I made it in the process of trying to relearn the game, but the Union is not out of it. That is the important thing. Even though the Army of Northern Virginia has better leaders, they have got to somehow get organized and drive them out of Washington, which may not be as difficult as it sounds. May not be as difficult as it sounds. We'll see. So, I've enjoyed this. It's fun being back. I'll try and keep this posted more often or updated more often. If you like what you see, like and subscribe, you know, the usual yada yada yada. Like I said, you know, this is one of my favorite things to do. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. And I hope maybe some of you learned something. I hope I didn't make too many mistakes. But we'll move on. And next is September to October 1861. And we'll see if the Union can drive the Confederates out of Washington, D.C. Take care, y'all. Talk to you later. I have to add a quick addendum to this because I just realized I went through this whole thing and never once rolled for leader loss, which is very, very basic to the game. So, first Battle of Springfield, we're going to roll for Lyon, and he gets a 6. He's okay. Price gets a 6. He's okay. Now for the second battle, Lyon rolls a 2. That's a 3 or a 4. On a reroll of 7, leader is killed. So he escapes, and Price gets a 9, and he's okay. So both of these I need to add promotions because they were both on the map at the start. So we'll start with Lyon. Is going to be in for a promotion, and Price is going to be in for a promotion. Now Price is not going to change. Neither is Lyon. So Price, I'll slap him on the chart here. Return to. I'll slide these down to the bottom. Okay, now the Battle of Bull Run was Beauregard versus McDowell. So Beauregard is a 6, he survives. McDowell is a 5, he survives. And then the attack on Washington, Beauregard is a 3, he survives. E.K. Smith, Jackson, and Stewart. Smith is wounded. And so, E.K. Smith over here. Actually, we'll just go ahead and put them in the leader pool for the next turn. He is, none of these are eligible for promotion, I believe, until next turn. So, Stonewall Jackson is a 3, 2-star killed. He is a 1-star. And then Jeb Stuart is a 9, and he's okay. So, I don't think that there were any other battles fought. I think that's pretty much it. So E.K. Smith was wounded through all of that. And that's the addendum. So Lyon is in for promotion. Sterling Price is in for promotion. I'll try and keep better tabs on that in the future.